Chris Welch, and I'm here to just give you a few minutes advice in relation to your ACCA P7 Advanced Audit and Assurance Examination for the June 2014 sitting. The examiner will continue to be Lisa Weaver, who's been the examiner since 2007. She has taught 13 examination papers so far, so there's quite a lot of past history you can look at as regards past exam questions and answers to see her style and presentation. She writes regularly in the Student Accountant, and if you look at the ACCA website for the technical articles of P7, you will see many articles that she's written over the years which are highly relevant and appropriate, and she always recommends students that the best way to prepare for the examination is by working as many past questions as possible from her exams, reading the model answers, learning from the examiner's comments as to where students made faults in the past, and from reading through her relevant articles. The main way to ensure you get success in this examination is to make certain you practice as many questions and to ensure that you concentrate on the style and the presentation of the answer. At this level in the examination, the skills level that are going to be required of you is generally set at level 3, evaluation and synthesis, and all the examination questions will be in the form of case studies and scenarios, where you are required to show the application of the information in the question when answering your exam questions. As regards the format of the examination paper, it will continue as it has been in the past. Section A will have 2 compulsory questions carrying 60 marks, and 4 professional marks will be allocated to one of the questions. Historically, question number 1 will be 35 marks, and generally that question normally covers the area of audit planning, risk assessment, and will have some elements audit towards audit evidence. In relation to risk assessment, I believe for the June 2014 exam, the area that is most likely to be asked will be business risks, bearing in mind that in the last 2 examinations we had questions on the risk of financial misstatements and on audit risk. So by elimination, business risks is probably the more likely area to come in the examination this time. Question 2 is generally on the wider range of assurance services, and looking at the areas of the syllabus that haven't come in recent times, I would have thought it's quite likely the question this time may come on the area of ISAE 3400, where you're dealing with prospective financial information. Maybe you're asked to explain what evidence you look for to check a cash flow forecast. You might be asked to discuss the evidence that you look for to provide an assurance report on a business plan. Alternatively, KPI, key performance indicators, could feature as a component within the question, where you are dealing with the evidence that is required to show that the non-financial performance that is reflected in the financial statements is of a reasonable level of reliability. Section B has 3 questions from which you have to attempt 2 only. They're generally scenario questions, and historically the areas that are covered. Generally question number 5 covers the area of audit reporting. Well, looking at what's come in recent examinations, I would have thought that if a question comes on audit reports, it may well deal with the ISA 720, the other information contained in the documents with the audited financial statements and what the auditor has to do in relation to that, tying in with ISA 706, because of course if there are inconsistencies or misleading misstatements in the other information, it would probably require an other matters paragraph to be added at the end of the audit report. But bearing in mind that the optional questions now carry 20 marks, I think there's a reasonable possibility that the final part of the question might deal with a current issue, i.e. the discussion on what proposed changes might be introduced to the standard format of the audit report. And there was an article in the Student Accountant late 2013 that actually addressed those issues, so make certain you read that article. Question number 4 historically deals with professional conduct, ethics and practice management. Ethics and professional conduct come regularly in the examinations, and Lisa wrote a really good article on that in 2013, giving students advice as to what they have to do to gain maximum marks. and with the practice management area, which he has always regarded as one of the fundamental differences between the F8 and the P7 examination. Quality control has always been the most regularly examined topic area, so make certain you understand ISQC1 and ISA 220, but possibly it's time for a question once again on tendering. So that would be my prediction for question number 4. Question number 3 generally is the question where you are dealing with matters and evidence, i.e. where you're going to be tested on your knowledge and understanding of financial reporting standards and the necessary evidence to ensure that the accounting treatment is reflected correctly in the accounts. The examiner has always been very keen on trying to test some of the more recent IFRSs, so maybe IFRS 13, fair valuation, could come in the examination this time, and 2 other IFRSs that haven't been examined for some while, IFRS 5, assets held for resale, or IFRS 8, segmental reporting, might feature. What you've got to do in that question is to make certain that you clearly get across your knowledge and understanding of what is the correct accounting treatment, what evidence might be required to amend the given information in the scenario to ensure that an unmodified report could be given, and if the client is unwilling to make the changes, what the consequential impact would be on the audit report in that situation.